touch the skies. Cheltenham town and forest green, Gloucester City stands so keen. Talk of the county, loud and clear.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Talk of the County Podcast, brought to you by Traffic Safety Management Ltd, experts in traffic management, local depot in Gloucester, but support projects all around the UK. TSM keeps the road moving safely, day and night, offering local operatives great career prospects in a socially driven company they genuinely look after, and it's the people and its communities they serve. To find out more, visit www.tsmltd.co.uk. I am your host, Daniel Hopkins, and we are joined by the usual crew. Our panellist, Chris Hughes of Cheltenham Town. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, gentlemen.
We've got Dave Jones. Everybody else know him as Dave Angel. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, gentlemen.
And we've got quite an upbeat, a little bit better
Shipper looking Sean.
Morning, boys.
Morning, Sean. And we will be joined by Robbie Savage for the Forest Green bit. So we're going to crack straight on. I'm going to change the agenda around. We're going to start with Cheltenham. And I know some of you will go, well, we started with Cheltenham last week. It's because Rob was coming on just after 10:30. Right, so we'll crack straight on with it then.
We are going to talk of the counties around the grounds by Chris Hughes.
Let's take a spin around the grounds, brought to you by BAM Recruitment. They find better matches than most managers in a January transfer window. Whether it's temporary or permanent, they put the right people in the right positions. Engineering, construction and operational, no VAR needed. Check them out below. First up, the ladies. No games for Cheltenham or Gloucester last week, but they'll go head-to-head later today in the County Cup at the KMM Stadium. 2 p.m. kickoff. Forest Green had a solid 4-1 win over Poole Town last week, thanks to goals from Hattie Jones, Leilani Ryder, Rhian Robbins and Katie Jones. They're up against Frampton Rangers away in the County Cup today too. Moving to the Southern League Division 1 South, Cleves midweek match with Falmouth got postponed, while Hartbury managed a 3-3 draw at home against Shaftesbury. No game for Hartbury yesterday, but Bishop's Cleeve got back on track, grabbing a 2-0 win at home over Westbury United. Right now, Cleves sit 6th in the league, just 2 points off the playoffs, and Hartbury are 9th. Cleeve head to AFC Brixham on Tuesday, and Hartbury's next game is on Saturday at home against Larkhall Athletic. On to the Hellenic Premier Division. No midweek matches for our clubs, but yesterday Slimbridge were in cup action away at Downton in the FA Vase, which ended up losing 4-3 on penalties after a 0-0 draw. In league play, Lydney lost 3-0 at Worcester Raiders. Fairford went down 2-0 at Mangotsfield, but Cinderford smashed Droitwich 4-0 away. At home, Tuffley lost 3-2 to Royal Wootton Bassett, but Cirencester put on a show, beating Westfields 5-1. No derby games this week, sadly. Looking ahead, there are a couple of midweek derbies. Cinderford host Division 1 side Cheltenham Saracens in the Challenge Trophy, and Fairford head off to Long Levens in the Floodlit Cup. And on Saturday, Lydney welcomes Cirencester to Sansom Park, and Slimbridge host Fairford in the league. And that's the roundup from around the grounds. Back over to you, Dan.
Thanks, Chris. Let's start with Cheltenham Town. Before we go over to you, Chris, we've got a regular. Pete Matthews has sent in a voice note, and this is what he's had to say about the game yesterday up at Oldham.
I'm not sure I can still believe that Cheltenham have lost today. They were by some way the better team. They had much the better of the game in both the second halves of each half. So even though Oldham started strongly, Cheltenham were on top for much of the first half. Jordan Thomas took his penalty very well.
How did you see the game yesterday, Chris?
It was just one of those games, mate. We deserved something from the game. We didn't get it, unfortunately. I'm going to sound a lot like our guest later on, because the amount of shots we had, it was incredible. If we just had to put them away. Unfortunately, with there being, about 150,000 people that live in Cheltenham. That doesn't actually get you goals. So there you go.
It was a very drab first 20 minutes with both sides. Both sides set up to frustrate each other in the first 20, I thought. But I thought the difference, Chris, was I thought Joe Garner set the tone. I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
He was outstanding, particularly in the air. And I personally, and you probably correct me here, but he doesn't actually look like he's the tallest player in the world, but he's got such a leap on him. And he was up against Robbie Cundy, who's about 8'9", and James Wilson, who is not a dwarf. He's really good in the air, but he was winning everything. So yeah, he had an outstanding game. Him and their keeper were by far and away the best two on the pitch yesterday.
Yeah, they were. Cheltenham take the lead in the 25th minute. Bickerstaff tripped in the area. Good bit of foot play by Bickerstaff, and it was definite penalty, wasn't it?
Oh, 100% penalty. What I will say is you've missed another penalty before that. From a corner, Tompkinson. I don't know how the ref doesn't give it. It's the most. It wasn't Tompkinson. It was Cundy. His shirt was basically ripped off him. How that isn't a penalty, I don't know. But yeah, the one that was given, clear penalty, and a brilliantly taken penalty by Thomas.
Yeah, no, it was. And the reason I didn't put that in is because we're going to spend probably most of this pod berating referees.
Yeah, probably, mate.
And I thought the reason maybe it wasn't given, Chris, was because it's one of those ones where it's a penalty all day long, but then they're never given. And then
anywhere else on the pitch, that is a free kick.
Yeah.
So why isn't it a penalty?
Exactly that. And it's like one of those ones. Once in every 100 games, a referee suddenly decides that he's
You're 100% right. Once every blue moon, a referee actually does his job. I know that Robbie will probably want to talk about referees. Sean will definitely want to talk about referees. I thought the referee yesterday was dreadful for both teams, not just for us, but for both teams. He was dreadful. I've seen him before, and he was dreadful then as well. So from the start of the game, I didn't hold much hope for the referee being any good. And frankly, he wasn't. But that's a blatant penalty. It's lost for words how that one wasn't given, but there you go.
No, I totally agree. Miller picked the ball up, but I think the message from the bench was give it to Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot more in football. Is that a player will pick the ball up, stand by the spot, and he'll take the banter, I suppose you could call it, from the opposition players, and then give it to someone else for them to just take it. We're seeing it a lot more. I was really confident with Thomas stepping up. He does strike a ball quite well. Happy days.
Yeah, and as you said, it was a cracking penalty. The keeper, I think, probably
it was the power. It was the power that beat the keeper. He struck it so well. Keeper went the right way. And if he didn't strike it as well as he did, the keeper saves it. But it was a cracking penalty.
No, I agree. That's exactly what I said. I think any other person taking a penalty, the keeper probably saves it because he gets right across there, but the power takes it in. That's his 5th goal of the season, Chris. And, for a player who spent a large part of it injured,
I'm going to repeat myself here, Dan, for any other club listening. Apart from his goal, he was absolutely terrible yesterday. Didn't want to run, didn't want to do anything. So I wouldn't bother sending the scouts.
No, it's like I said, it is sad because, I know we're going to lose him. I don't think it matters what money is put on the table for him. He's going to get an higher division club, and the sad thing is he's going to take it. And he's 24, coming 25. He's at that age now where this next move is probably going to be his money maker.
He is, and I've said this to you privately. He is by far and away our best player. Has been probably since last season. He is our best player. and nobody else. I don't think anyone else comes close. Adela and Kane close, but Thomas is our best player.
Yeah, he 100% is. Do you see though, Chris? Do you potentially see that Cheltenham might end up leaving Cheltenham this summer? This January, or do you think we're going to keep on to him? Keep on.
I think my personal opinion is, if a club wants him, they need to pay his release fee. If they don't offer his release fee, I would like to see him staying.
Over $1 million.
Do I mind losing him for free? Yes, but I'd rather he were here for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, anyway, 10 minutes after that, Joe Day had one of his mayor moments. Now, let me, for the listeners who didn't see the game, let me describe how this actually happened. So the ball comes into the box. Day goes down to sort of crouch down to scoop it up, fumbles it, then reacts really quickly and rushes out and then takes the player out. But the referee points to a corner. Now, I was there thinking to myself, did I miss something before the ball come in? Which I didn't. Talking to another lad at half time, he said, no, the linesman gave a corner for where Day fumbled it, but Day fumbled it pretty much inside his post.
They fumbled it in the pitch. So it was a strange one. My immediate thought was that's a Stonewall penalty. That was my immediate thought. I wasn't sure what the ref was doing when he pointed for a corner. I was very confused because it was a Stonewall penalty and their player kicked it out the pitch. So I didn't really know what was going on at that moment, but apparently the ball went out of play at some point, so he got away with it.
It was a cert penalty, wasn't it?
100% Stonewall.
You know, you got to sit here and you've got to be fair. And
yeah. Look, I some people don't like some of the things I say, and some of the things I say are said with tongue in cheek, but I will always give my opinion, whether it's pro Cheltenham or against Cheltenham, and that was a Stonewall penalty.
No, absolutely. So, you know, that we got away with one there. It looked like Cheltenham were going to go in 1-0, and just like
should have went in
1-0, and just like we did with Leicester, we shot ourselves in the foot on the stroke of half time. And again, we said how brilliantly Joe Garner was, but again,
we'd had two warnings about Joe Garner in the box before he scored. He flicked one just over the angle from a set piece, and another one he headed. I think Day saved it, or it might have gone over, one of the two. So we were warned, and he wasn't picked up properly. Miller was the closest person to him, and he was just trying to wrestle him. And he didn't even try and go for the ball. So for me, Miller was at fault for the goal. Joe Day could possibly have come out, but I think it would have been a bit difficult because he was surrounded. But look, you can't give away free headers in the box to players like Joe Garner, who are excellent in the air.
It was a great header, wasn't it? But
it was a really good, powerful header, but he shouldn't have been allowed to get it.
He put it. I think you put it in the chat because I couldn't really see from where I was sat. It looked like he bullied Miller, didn't he? And like sort of just pushed him out of the way. And
for me, Miller was trying to just outmuscle him, and try and maneuver him out of the way of the ball. He didn't jump for the ball, Miller. It was soft, really soft. It was a goal that shouldn't happen.
It was a strange one, yeah. So we go into half time. It's 1-1. Oldham had the first chance from long range in the second half, and to be fair to Joe Day, like I said, this is where he's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. Great save, tips it over the bar.
Yeah, that was a really good save, and like I say, Joe Day is capable of pulling out these really, really good saves. But he has got a mistake in him, unfortunately, and I think they're beginning to creep in a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you know, he's. I'm not saying Joe Day's rubbish, but he's just got that lack of concentration sometimes in him. Dave shaking his head. But Dave, you was watching the game. What did you think of the Joe Day fumble before we move on?
He's a keeper. If he was my keeper, I'd be having kittens every time the ball went near him. As you say, he just always looks like he's got a mistake in him. Not a big fan, to be honest. He's a good. He can be a good shot stopper, can't he? But his decision making sometimes and his ball handling would worry me if I was a Cheltenham fan. They should have given away a penalty. Yeah, I think it's harsh blaming him for the Joe Gardner header. I don't think he could have got to it. There was too many players in his way. I think he did the right thing, stayed on his line, and that was down to the defenders' poor picking up. But yeah, he's not a keeper who inspires me with confidence, to be honest.
I did look at Steve Cottrell after they scored, and he berated Joe Day, and it was like it was like he was going. So whether he was saying just come out and clatter everybody and take it, but again, speaking to the guy I did at half time, he said he heard someone say leave it in the stand. I didn't hear it. He said he heard someone say leave it.
That should be a free kick straight away. Yeah.
Well, that is a free kick, yeah. So whether Joe Day heard that and stayed on his line, but to be fair, he was coming across the 6-yard box at quite some speed. I'll cut him some slack on that one. So, like I said, he's very inconsistent. Can you see Cheltenham bringing in a goalkeeper now? Or
Not in January, no.
Do you think it'd be in the summer, Chris?
Yeah, in the summer. But Day's here for next season as well. He's signed a contract, so he's definitely here. But we definitely need another goalie. Other than Diallo, because Diallo's not ready. He needs to go out and get games.
Well, I think that's what Cott's plan is to get him out, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's Diallo like?
He's really good, really good. He played in a couple of the cup games. The thing that stood out to me with him, the thing that stood out to me with Diallo was he wasn't very good if a shot was hit very hard.
Right.
It seemed to get past him quite easy. But his footwork is excellent. He's got excellent footwork.
He was the keeper doing the warm-up with the keeper when a couple of times the balls went through him in that, and I was thinking, that must be the reserve. But
he was outstanding at Cardiff away in the Carabao Cup. He saved a penalty in that game, and they had a chance from about 6 yards out, but it was on the angle. And it's one of those ones that nestled into the side of the net. And he got down and sort of like flicked it around the post, and you're like, how did you save that? But Chris is right. He needs to go out. I said this yesterday. He needs to go out, and he needs to be bullied.
How old is he?
So he's only 17.
Oh, right. Okay.
So he's not someone who's going to come in and, you're going to feel confident he's going to deputise if Joe Day got injured. That's your worry. But he needs to go out and get bullied somewhere. Play maybe National League safe and have a couple of like Louis Britton, hammering you into the back of the net on corners and stuff like that.
We did have Max Little in for a while. I don't know if he's still at the club, but he was there as a training keeper.
He was there for the Leicester game. I didn't see him yesterday. So yeah. So anyway, they take the lead. Really poor goal to concede. And the reason I say really poor, Chris, is because the lad has it in the corner and he sort of just oofs it over his head, doesn't he? And then Joe Garner again.
Yeah. I think for me, a ball like that into the box, Fondop's kind of overhead kick, if you can call it, and that's being really, because it wasn't an overhead kick, he just hoofed it behind him. That's one Day's got to come for. On a second note, Nurse gets beaten way too easy in the air by Garner. And thirdly, no one picked up the guy in the middle. So it's 3 mistakes for me. And when you make 3 mistakes, you're going to concede.
Yeah, it was really poor.
It was really, really soft goal. And it shouldn't have happened. It fundamentally shouldn't have happened. The ball coming in, stopping that, you're not going to stop that kind of ball in. Yeah. But you can deal with it a lot better.
Yeah, I just thought all game that Joe Garner showed his experience. He showed it. He's had a really good career.
Yeah.
And we've been talking.
He's the type of player we need.
I was going to say, we've been talking about we need a kind of a Babalola kind of striker to be able to hold the ball up more, which, to be fair, George have done well with yesterday. But it just goes to show that if you read the game and you got that desire, because let's not get about, Cundiff's 6'6", and Wilson's 6'4".
Yeah.
And he was out jumping him.
He won nearly everything, Garner.
Yeah. Fair play to him. And like I said, that assist puts them 2-1 up. The game changed after the goal. We really took the game to
absolutely dominated.
The chances will come after that, Chris. The Tompkinson's first chance from the corner, the header. Dave
great save that, by the way.
He said it was a camera save, but I was right behind it, and
it's a great save that.
The power,
Hollywood.
that's the Hollywood you use, Dave. The power behind it for 6 yards out, which makes it a good save. You are right. You expect the goalkeeper is kind of straight.
It was quite close to him, wasn't it? It was quite close to him.
So the power on it from Tompkinson, I thought, Chris, was what makes
it. A yard further out, it's in.
But should he head it down? If he heads it down, it goes in, doesn't it?
I don't think it matters when you head it that well. If it was a yard further over, it's in.
Yeah. But then shortly after, Miller goes through.
Well, Miller's no longer got a 100% record of one-on-ones for Steve Cotterill.
Yeah, to be fair, he never really got it under control, did he? And by the time he got this...
His second touch was too heavy. And as soon as he made that second touch, he wasn't scoring.
Yeah, I said to the guy, because the guy next to me was berating him, and I said, look, let's not be around the bush here, guys. He's just literally muscled Manny Monte, who's an absolute beast of a centre half.
Yeah. Talk about our centre halves being pretty big. Manny Monte is an absolute unit.
He's 6'4" in height and 6'4" in width. So he's just massive. He's not easy to push off.
Your proverbial brick shithouse.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that.
You're allowed to say that. Outhouse. Edit that. Outhouse.
Yeah, toilet house. So when by the time he pushes him off the ball, he gets in behind. He does. I think the first touch knocks him away from him. Then he tries to get it under control. And then by the time that keeper smothers him, doesn't he? And
yeah, keeper's there. Like I said, second touch takes it away, and it's easy for the keeper from there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then again, the pressure kept coming. Not long after that, a great ball in by Thomas. Miller comes in from, so it would have been my right-hand side then, but from the left-hand side. He slides in, and he puts it back across goal and wide. Some people have said that the defender done a great job, putting him off, but it just needs to hit you and go in. It's one of those. You think about Archer back.
It's those ones that Miller normally puts away.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
But there you go.
It was like the Archer one at Tranmere. You just need to let it hit you.
Yeah.
In. But it doesn't. But there was a comment on X, and I actually agree with this. That was a kind of a game there. If you had Matty Taylor in, Cheltenham walk away winning 5-2.
Yeah.
Is Matty Taylor would take those chances Cheltenham had.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, and Sean will love this, and Robbie will love this even more. RXG was double theirs.
It was, but I always say about stats, and I'll stay fair. You can have if you've had 20 shots and you've had 19 on target, then that's not well played. That's
poor finishing. Yeah,
finishing, and that was yesterday. Like, I walked out, there was a lot of people I was talking to on the way out, and they was going, "That's really good, really good." And then I'll flip it on the other side about saying like a hypocrite. There is parts of you, and you're looking at it and you're going, "Do you know what? We did play well." But then as I'm walking back to the car, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we should be walking away from Oldham without a point.
Yeah, we haven't got any points. We can play as well as you want, but we haven't got any points.
Should have got 3, I thought, as not a neutral, because I wanted you to lose, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I had no skin in the game, and I watched it, and I'd have been, if I was a Cheltenham fan, I'd have been gutted not to win that game, because after they scored, it was just, you should have scored 2 or 3, shouldn't you?
Comfortably, yeah.
100%. And to be fair, an Oldham fan said that, and it's actually nice to see like a balanced review from a fan. And he said, we'll take the win, but to be fair, Cheltenham deserve more than what they got. But the end of the day, if you want to be a bit harsh, you deserve what you get, and we didn't stick the ball in the net with the chances.
I'll also add to that. I'll give Oldham fans quite a lot of credit because I've seen quite a lot of nice things written by a lot of Oldham fans about us yesterday. So fair play to them.
Yeah, so it gives you a bit. It gives you a bit of encouragement. We'll get on to this in a minute, but we are depleted. Our squad is depleted. We do need to add more. And again, it just asks that question: is the 3 players we've lost, would we have come out on a different side? But Cheltenham had a lot of chances, but their keeper, to be fair, it was between Nelson and Joe Garner who was man of the match.
Yeah, definitely. And I've alluded to it a few times. Those two were by head and shoulders the best 2 on the pitch.
Yeah. But as Cheltenham were pushing for that equaliser, Oldham could have really put the game to bed. They should have put the game to bed.
Should have, yeah.
Broke away on Cheltenham. He cuts in, and Quigley, who got a bit of stick, Sean, and he was loving it down in the corners. He was warming up. He rattles the bar.
Did he come on?
He came on.
He came on and at the bar in a 1-on-1.
He should have scored.
Should have scored. It was easier to score than it was to miss.
He's tried to bend it around day, and it's hit the angle and come back out. But yeah, he was when the Cheltenham fans were singing FGR to him. The couple of the Oldham players subs were laughing with him, and he was going like that with his head. So he took it in good banter, to be fair to him. But all in all, Chris, it was a weird game. Like I said, there's positives to take from it. We know there's reinforcements coming in. So we'll get on to Cott's thoughts now. But one thing Cott's did say is we're a different team to what we were because don't forget, this was Michael Flynn's last game in charge when we played him at home. Chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. We and Cots is right. We are such a better team now, and it's largely the same players. Largely, not fully, but largely the same players. One thing I do want to point out is Jake Bickerstaff in the 10. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah,
I thought he played really well in that role, and it was one that I did not think that suited him as a player. I thought he's a pressure forward. He's like your press. If you're playing Football Manager, other management games are available, of course. But if you're playing Football Manager, he's your pressing forward. But in that 10, he did really well. He marked, forget his name, but their ginger lad that sits just in front
Woods.
of the back 4. Yeah, Woods, that's it. He marked him out of the game. He barely got any space. And Bickerstaff looked really, really threatening going forward as well. We won our penalty, for example. I thought he had a really good game. AJB on the right wing didn't work for me. But
I'm a bit
got time.
I thought it was a bit indifferent. I thought at times he was very.
It was glimpses, but he was out of the game more than he was in the game. I'd be really interested to see how many touches he got in comparison to everyone else, because I don't think it's many. And he didn't. For me, he just didn't offer a lot going forward for us. But that may have been a ploy because, excuse me, may have been a ploy because when we did play them when Flynn was in charge, everything came down the right, and they really hurt us on the right hand side. So having 2 kind of fullbacks there, maybe that was a thing, but as an attacking threat, I don't think he offered us a lot, unfortunately.
Good. Well, that's one. Let's get on to Cott's thoughts then. So that's one of the things that Cott's did say, that he was asked about Arkad Boyd. To be fair, Mark Halliwell was on the Robbins report in the week with him, and he said, because I can see Arkad playing out wide right, and he asked Cott's a question after the game, how do you think he done? And he was like, his reaction was, yeah, he done okay in spells, but I think personally for me, Chris, I think as either a wing back or a wide right player is his best position, because I think in a flat 4, he's not very good at defending.
Yeah, he's not a great defender. Personally, I would rather Thomas out there and Martin on the other side. And Martin was really good when he came on, by the way. and he forced another quality save from their keeper. That would be, with the squad we've currently got, that would be my preference. But we'll wait to see what loans we bring in.
I see what you say with Martin, because Martin's got quality, but
off the ball, Martin doesn't offer us a lot. I fully accept that. But I think in that role is primarily to get forward and to create and to score goals, and to create goals. It isn't primarily. It's more of a going backwards. It's more of a covering role as opposed to a defensive role. So your movement does have to be good, and that is probably Martin's weakest attribute, I'd say. But I'd still rather him on the pitch than AJB going forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Martin offers enough during the game. He started enough games and he goes missing for probably 70 minutes of it when he's played 90.
Yeah, he is a bit of a luxury player, Martin.
Yeah. And we go on to, so he says about Miller. He says Miller wasn't really fit. He said he would have liked to have really started Miller on the bench, and then that last 20 minutes when we was dominating the game, he said it would have been nice to bring Miller on then. He said maybe a couple of those chances he did add, he probably would have put away, but he said he was holding his calf. It was only because I missed it when he was singing.
There was one moment where he actually pulled up, and I thought, oh no, it's gone. But he carried on, so it couldn't have been that bad.
No, he was holding it. He was holding it. He did signal to the bench, and Cole said he missed that. He said it was Edwards who actually said to him he wants to come off. He said, and that's obviously when he made the chances. But I agree with what he says. If he was probably 100% fit, maybe one or two of those we said he was a bit clumsy with finishing wise. He probably does because you was right. The one in the 6-yard box, that is George Miller's game, isn't it?
Yeah. He's not a think about it finisher. He's a reaction finisher. If he's got time to think about what he's doing, he's more likely to miss.
Yeah,
he's one of those. But from 2 yards out, he's normally really good.
Yeah. One comment he did say, Chris, and I like this. Usually I'll be spitting feathers because we know obviously we've got recruitment needs to come in and what have you. But he said there may be a couple of players who will go out this week. He said it will leave us short for a short period of time. He said these players know they're not going to get a contract at the end of the season. He said then there's offers on the table now for them. He said I know they've got families and livelihoods. He said so I'm going to be true to my word and keep my promise. And a couple of them probably go out this week, which is. It's a brave thing to do because if a couple of your targets you're going for fall through, it leaves you very tight towards the end of the window. But it's a nice humane thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is nice. It's good man management. But I can only assume it's those players that aren't even getting near the squad at the moment. So, and there's a few of them. So yeah, it is the right thing to do. If it leaves us a bit short, let's just hope we've got players, lined up, ready that don't decide to go and get injured.
Yeah. And finally for Cheltenham, Sean's obviously panicking because Cheltenham haven't made many signings yet. So do you think we're right to be biding our time for those right players?
Well, if we don't make new signings, they can't get sent off, can they?
If anybody who's listening, me and Sean have been having a bit of banter in our group all week. Sean's been winding me up saying, where's these signings, Dan? But I'm comfortable at the moment. And I know there's obviously irons in the fire. We know we've lost out on one.
The first 16 isn't changing, so it doesn't matter as long as they don't get injured. No one's going to break into that. So if it's players that are outside of that, I do think personally Kinsella might be one of them because he's not getting regular minutes and he's going to want regular minutes. That would be disappointing, but other than that, there's no one that hasn't been in the squad is going to get in the squad. So it's one of them.
I think it's 2 or 3. I think it like Kinsella. I think Kinsella definitely because I think he should be getting more minutes than he's getting. Backwell has not played all season really.
I'd really like Backwell. It's one of those. I think he's got a lot of promise, so I'd be disappointed if Backwell left. Sona is one. Bakare, I think, has got to be one of them.
But those two, Steve Cotter doesn't make a statement with those two because they're frozen out anyway. But I can see Derek Power maybe going back to Ireland. If you think about now, Derek Power's a right back. You've got Arcad, Jude Boyd, and Tompkinson. They playing it right in the right back.
Well, Tompkinson is a centre back, but he can play right back.
Yeah,
but he isn't going to play centre back.
No, he hasn't played there, has he? He's over left back. He's moved over to the right now because obviously we brought George Nurse in. So I think it's two out of those three. But there's still 2 weeks of the window to go. We've got a manager coming on now. He will know all the transfer windows about and how many He
hasn't seen a transfer window as a manager, has he?
Of course he has.
You don't get transfer windows in non-league.
That is true. Anyway, that's Cheltenham Town. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, mate.
We've got a special guest on today. Don't know whether he's calmed down yet. So he's going to come on to talk about Forest Green. Good morning, Robbie.
Morning, guys. I just heard Chris then.
Morning.
There are transfer windows in the Premier League where I spent most of my career, Chris. But let's move on.
Yeah.
let's move on.
I did say as a manager, mate. Let's move on. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry,
all those millions of pounds that were spent on me. But listen, let's carry on.
And we're 1 minute in and the banter started.
Let's carry on. It's great. I love it.
So let's go on to yesterday's game. Let's go on to Forest Green. Forest Green 1, Sutton 1. So I suppose Sean, Robbie, how did you see the game?
Well, Sean, you can go first because I listened to you both last week. Obviously didn't watch the game in full because you were both miles off it last week. Carry on.
So to be fair, I thought we started well. I thought Sutton were kicking our players off the pitch a little bit. Obviously the ref had an absolute stinker, and I think he got worse as the game went on a little bit. We done all right. We done what we needed to do. I'm a little bit gutted we didn't get the second goal. I spoke to Robbie last night, and I thought we should have probably put the game to bed before they had a chance to equalise. But that's football, innit? You don't.
They had. I think Forest Green had the better chances, the more clear cut chances. But in the first 20, it was quite ding dong game, wasn't it? It was like it was end to end. Like they had half chances where yours was more like you look at the Biabu chance where Ricardo puts him through where he should score. You had the more clear cut chances. But would you say that's fair that it was quite open in the first 20 minutes, Robbie?
They had one chance where Harry made a decent save, but it was straight at him. They had a few corners, but if you look at the first 20 minutes, Dan, Sean's right. Gilly has to score. Ricardo comes inside. Keeper makes a great save down to his left.
Dave doesn't think so.
Right. So Robbie, so what was your thoughts on the challenge on Ricardo Rees in terms of challenge wise?
Well, the first 20 minutes of the game, going back to Sean's point or your point, Dan, that was quite open. I'm not sure it was that open. Harry made a comfortable save, which was straight at him. They had a little bit of territory, but in our 4-4-2, we looked such a threat. Gilly should score, as you say. Ricardo then comes inside his player. Great save from the goalkeeper down to the left. We get the penalty. And that's where that whole opening period of the referee's decisions, and I know about laws of the game. So when Ricardo goes into the box and it's a 1v1, he gets fouled. It's not a red card because it's the defender made a genuine attempt to play the ball. Therefore, it can't be a red. Yes, is he denying a clear goal scored opportunity? Possibly, because Ricardo, 28 goals in 23 games for Merthyr, 2 in 1 for us. You would think for him, that would be a great opportunity to score. No yellow card, which for me, it's a good opportunity to score. So that for me has to be a yellow. We score the penalty. The challenge on the far side from Ricardo.
See, Robbie, I'm of a different opinion. I watched the Oilers last night. I think it's a red card. I think he should go. I don't think there's a cover
the
in
one in the
defence.
box?
The penalty is a red card.
No, but the law's changed, Dan. The law's changed because
I was going to say, you can't get a red card, can you?
You can't get a red card. You can't get a red
jeopardy,
card
whatever.
for denying a clear goal scored opportunity for a genuine attempt to play the ball, which it was. So I think the referee got that right. But what he didn't do, he didn't book the player because it was a yellow card. So the same happened at Luton with Harry Whitwell when he went to score. Yeah, it was a good opportunity to score, but because there was a genuine attempt to play the ball, he didn't get booked either. And I spoke to Howard Webb after that, and he said that was a yellow card challenge. And it was exactly the same against Sutton. So that should have been a yellow card. It wasn't, but it was a penalty. The ref got that decision right for the penalty. The challenge on Ricardo on the far side. Well, we use words to describe a red card challenge. And all the words that are used, out of control, high tackle, endangering opponent, speed of the challenge, lateness, every word used to define a red card challenge is that happened to Ricardo Rees. Yeah, so the referee plays on, and then the opportunity's not great. Ball comes back, and the same player gets the ball. I think it was the same player, might have been a different one. Ricardo gets up, smashes into him, and then I believe that should have been a red card for Ricardo also. Yeah, that's what I believe. But in that moment, if the referee does what I think should be expected of an official when my player's been endangered, blow the whistle. There's no real promising attack on that left-hand side. Blow the whistle. It's a straight red card. That's what I believe. So then Ricardo gets booked for retribution because he felt wronged. He gets a yellow. And then when he scores the second goal, this is where I'm just lost. And I'll come on to Dave and to Chris and honest opinions. So the ball gets played over the top. Ricardo reads it. He runs onto it. The assistant on the far side is looking across line straight at Ricardo. The referee is about 30, 40 yards away in a straight line. The ball hits his chest onto his arm. If the referee then thinks, I'll disallow the goal because it's hit his arm unintentionally, goal disallowed. I've not got a problem with that. But then to say it's a deliberate handball with second yellow off, and if you look at the assistant on the far side, his motion, he's running with Ricardo, he runs to the corner flag, then he starts walking back to the centre circle. That says to me, it's a goal. But the line was not flagged. He's got the best view of it, by the way. He's in line, the same. So he would see Ricardo do that with his arm to control the ball. It's hit his chest. Even then, if it's hit his arm on the angles you can't see. So in any game of football in the world, that is not a deliberate handball. And to get sent off for it is just, honestly, I'm lost for words. And I just think that every standard of football, I'm sure in League Two, Gloucester, Premier League, we've seen a goal ruled out for VAR when Haaland was on an offside position. I just don't know what we can do because the standard of refereeing across all leagues in this country is probably at its all-time low. But again,
just quick.
I'll weigh in on that, Robbie, and I'll fully agree with you. The standard of refereeing in League Two is absolutely dreadful. We've had one good referee all season.
Do you know what, Chris? And this is not me. This is not me because my boys were brilliant. They were magnificent. They fought for each other. We were brilliant. Even with 10, our XG was far higher than theirs. And we talk about XG, but the chances we missed again. And that is the frustrating thing that listen, we should have won the game. We should have won the game. And if we're 11 v 11, we win the game comfortably, in my opinion. And it's so tight margins in our league. But you stand there before the game, guys, with the referee and with the fourth official and the captains and the managers, and you hear the same old thing from referees every week before a game. Or, any questions, speak to me. You can't. The fourth official on the side, you don't get answers. And then when you want to speak to them, they're in a rush or, it's honestly, guys, I don't know what could be done. I've tried ringing Howard Webb this morning. I tried ringing people to say what can be done, because it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And to be fair, for both teams, it's not good. Fans went to that game yesterday to see an entertaining game of football, two teams who like to play, who like to score goals, and the spectacle was ruined for me. And even the fans behind me or something were brilliant. And they were all saying the same thing. Listen, but Sutton won't mind, because they know, listen, I would think with 11v11, we were so dominant, we'd have won the game. We might not have, but it's just ridiculous, honestly. And you go to bed last night, you're thinking, what could you have done as a management team different? And to be fair, you might argue, and I hear it all the time, things even themselves out across the season. Well, I don't think they do. Brackley away, it's a stonewall penalty on Knowlesy. I'm not talking 50-50. He's got booked for simulation. It's a stonewall penalty. But then you could say against Halifax, Harry, our goalie, threw their centre forward to the ground. It should have been a penalty or a goal for them. So it's not all in my favour. I'm saying across the board, it's poor.
Here's a question for you, Robbie. And it's something us as football fans, I'm sure you as management and whatever you think the same. Sometimes we think that a referee makes a decision like 20 minutes before, and then it gets to half time and realises he's got it horribly wrong. Do you think sometimes that they think, oh, we're trying, maybe they in their head they even it up? Because I this is my opinion, seeing both of them. I think that their player should have been sent off on Ricardo, and I think Ricardo's challenge for what he got booked for was a red card. That was late, and I thought they both should have gone. Do you think
in my opinion, they were both really nasty challenges?
Let's take away that wouldn't have happened if the other guy had gone. But do you think that he's gone through and he's maybe took that opportunity to go? Because let me go back to a game when I was at Colchester. Colchester had a stonewall penalty first half, didn't get given. 5 minutes into the second half, their player enters the box, Adelican just literally touches his arm, goes down, penalty. And then in your head, you're thinking, has he seen he's made a howler and evened it up?
Listen, I don't know. I can't speak for what they think. It's a tough job. I know that, and they have to make the decisions. And the thing with us on the bench, we can look at the decisions instantly. But they're not allowed to see them. They're not allowed to watch them even at half time or after the game. So again, it's okay for us to say, listen, you've got it wrong because we've seen it, but they're not allowed to. You see coaches now look at when they're even the Premier League, they're looking at the footage as it goes. So we all see it. So I knew instantly. We seen Ricardo's challenge, the one on Ricardo, and we seen the goal. So again, and when they scored their equaliser, we thought it was offside. And everybody was saying offside, but it wasn't. We watched it; it wasn't offside. It was a genuine goal. So I've got no problem with that. So I can't speak for what they think. That's that with them. And I hear the terms even it up, but you just got to go on the moment. And so now you've seen it, Dave. And Dave, what do you think of the tackle on Ricardo? Honestly,
I've just watched it on a full size screen a few times, and it's straight red card all day.
So again,
I'd previously seen it. I'd seen it once on a telephone, but yeah, it's a terrible challenge. It's a lot higher than it looked on a phone.
So the referee obviously the referee has one moment to see it. So if he has that moment, to see it, and he thinks it's a yellow, that's his opinion. But I can't understand for the life of me how anybody in that ground, in that stadium, who sees that challenge, and it's been played numerous times on social media, and every person says red card, bar the officials on the day. So what's the directive? What's being told to them? What is the education? Because we could all sit now in front of a TV screen, 100 people in the room, and we would show that challenge, and 100 people would say yellow, red card. But what is the mentality of the officials to think on the day that is not a red card? I can't get it.
Taking that aside, and if just moving past that challenge and accepting the referee's made a big mistake and it should have been a red card, but moving on from there, do you think? Because I personally think Ricardo's challenge was a straight red as well.
I agree.
So I know it shouldn't have happened,
but that shouldn't have got to that point.
He wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. But I think the referee made another mistake in not making that a straight red.
Totally
maybe,
agree.
and I haven't seen the second yellow. That sounds like a nonsense, the second yellow, but I don't think he should have been on for the second yellow. I think he should have gone for that challenge.
Yeah,
Wait,
but it's not. But it's in a line. But so you could say that, Dave. He shouldn't have been on for the second yellow, but he would have, because the guy should have been sent off and in the first
Oh yeah,
place.
yeah.
So the domino effect should never happen, and the control of
Oh
the
yeah,
game was lost
certainly.
from that challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
You
He's made
say-
the one mistake. One mistake has affected all of them down the line, I admit. But I think looking at them individually as one-off incidents, I think it was 2 red cards.
But are you saying?
Totally...
Are you saying though, Robbie? Are you saying that it was more of a retaliation from Ricardo?
Yeah, and I said to him at half time, and do you know what? I don't mind that. I was the same. I don't mind that. I don't listen whether you think that's right or you think that's wrong. As a player, when you feel that you've been on end of a terrible challenge, and then you've got an opportunity to try and win the ball in a hard challenge, which Ricardo did, but he got it wrong, and it was a straight red. I'm never going to say to my players, go around hurting people. Never have, never would. But if you feel aggrieved and you think, listen, there's an opportunity there to go and win the ball and make a tough challenge, of course, I used to do it all the time. And I said to Ricardo at half time, because the kid was devastated, because the kid said, I'll just go 2 or 3 today again. And that's his mentality. And now we've been wronged again, because now Ricardo misses Wednesday because you can't appeal a second yellow. It's just the laws. It's ridiculous. You should be able to appeal a red, whether it's 2 yellows or a straight red, because it's.
So what was the referee? So obviously you would have spoken to the referee. What was his opinion?
Deliberate handball.
Why? No, not his red card. The challenge on Ricardo. Why wasn't that given as a red?
He just thought it was the words used to describe a yellow card. Which is it? Reckless, a yellow? I don't know what the word is exactly. So in the laws of the game, there's a criteria for a yellow, which I think is it reckless, and the criteria for a red is violent, endangering opponent. But the referee used the words of a yellow card, which is it reckless that? If you Google it now, I will say.
It's reckless with intent, isn't it? It goes to a red card. There was intent to endanger an opponent. It goes
so if
to
you look at the
card,
criteria for a red, listen, and this is not me, because we've drawn a game. And listen, a point away from home, with 10 for 60, 70 minutes, however long it was, my team were brilliant. But you can see the frustration because, and listen, we conceded late as well, because that is but they were putting pressure on us. I think they had 76% possession. We had 26, but again, we had the same number of shots and we had far higher XG. But but they've drawn the game, and that is the biggest frustration, that my boys worked so hard and they give everything for me and for the fans. The fans were great. But even then, we can talk about the decisions and how it's so frustrating. But when you in the second half, when you've got a good shape, and the mentality was at half time, and I tell you exactly what I said. Listen, so when you go down to 10, your mentality is right. Okay, let's just keep our shape. And we went to a 4-4-1. Very difficult to break down. Good distance between the lines. Good partnerships. And I said at half time, right, we're going to stay the same shape. I said if they score, we go and win the game. I said we go and win the game. We're not sitting back. We're not settling because we'll hurt them in transition. So keep your shape. Keep your numbers, count your numbers, make sure you control them of the park. Yeah, and only press when you can go. When you've got the opportunity to break, you all go. Every one of you, the fullbacks go, one of the midfield players go, the 2 wide players go, and we all go. We all go, and if we get done, I'll take it. And there's 3 opportunities in the second half. Temi Babalola's header, he has to score. He's got to score.
6 yards.
Has to score. Nosey does unbelievable to get in the box. And then as he puts it back on his right, he's just got a square pass. He's got a square pass to Cairo, and it should be a tap-in. And then Cairo, before that, the ball broke to him on the halfway line. We were a 4v2, and he shot from the halfway line. And again, when I talk about football intelligence after the game, this is what sometimes I find difficult, because for me, that's easy. That should be a natural thing. The higher you play, that should be easy, right? We're up against it. We've got an opportunity to break, and we shoot from the halfway line with a 4v2. And the biggest frustration for me, in the week, what we've been doing with John McMahon is playing in a new system of 4-4-2, and the shooting practices have been overloads, 4v3s, 3v2s, 2 against 1, and we break. So you can imagine the routine is 2 defenders defending the goal and 3 attackers going against the 2. So the middle one drives with the ball. Yeah, the defenders have got to make a decision. Do they come narrow? And then they got to slip the ball wide when we can get a shot off. And that's what we've worked on all week. And then we have the same situation, but we think it's a good idea to shoot from the halfway line. And again, this is what I'm talking about, football intelligence. So as a coach, all our patterns, all the work we went into the week, because they usually set up with a box in midfield, and the box, when we've played against Rochdale and York, Rochdale beat us in the box system and they deserved to win. York in the first half played with the box. They were winning the game. But then second half we changed it and we were magnificent and should have won the game. And Sutton played with the box. So we went with a 4-4-2 because of our pace, and we thought we'll hurt them in wide areas. Don't let them play through us and send them wide and hurt them in transition. And it worked. So we've done unbelievable against the box. And they changed shape. They left the Harris out, I think, and because they were that worried about us, of our pay. I don't know if Harris was injured, I don't know if it was tactical, but there was a change of personnel, and it was respect to us. So when I talk about football intelligence, that's what I'm talking about, that Nosey, who's been brilliant for us, has to square the ball. Temi has to score the header. And when we're in 4v2, to go and finish the game or get a shot off, we decide to shoot from the halfway line. Yes, they hit the bar with a scramble. They've had one past the post. But Harry, I know he's got player of the match, which I find hard to believe, because Chibi was the best player in the park. Chibi was exceptional. So it's frustrating, guys. But we're 2 points off the top of the table. Everybody dropped points yesterday. It's a huge week. I think Carlisle play York, Scunthorpe play Borehamwood, and we play Altrincham at home. But this is the game now. We can't afford to drop points. The biggest blow is that we've been double punishment because Ricardo had been wrongly sent off, and now he misses a game. So, at the end of the season, when
at least he only misses one game, I suppose. If he'd
I
got
know
a straight
you're right,
red
Dave.
for the first challenge, he'd have been free, wouldn't he?
Still, it's not right, Dave, because you can't challenge a second yellow which ends in a red, but you can challenge red.
No, we were in exactly the same situation the other week, and it is frustrating, isn't it?
It's frustrating, Dave, because you're punishing the kids.
Do you think if he'd got a straight red for Ricardo's challenge and you'd appealed it, you'd have got it turned over then?
No. So I think it was a red. I think it was a red. And the mitigating circumstances is you can't say, well, that was a red before. You can't, because I believe. No. So again, because I think I'm fair, Dave. I think I'm fair in my interviews. I think I'm fair in my analysis of games. And yesterday, we were so good in the 4-4-2. And the reason we went 4-4-2 because Ricardo likes to play off somebody. And we tried the 4-3-3 against Halifax, which, again, hit the post in the first half, but he wasn't quite at it. And then second half, we went to the 4-4-2, him and Temi, he scored 2. So we thought, right, let's get the best out of Ricardo in a 4-4-2 with Elijah Morrison coming in from Bristol City, who lots of teams in the EFL wanted, but didn't get because he thinks we were the best opportunity to play consecutive games of football. Him and Gilly down the left-hand side, Kyle and Nosey down the right. So again, what we got to do now against Altrincham, I don't think I'll have to go back to a 4-2-3-1 because you've got no Ricardo, because his profile was perfect for us to play a 4-4-2. I haven't got the profile of 2 9s to want to play off the other one. So again, now my whole preparation, because of the decision, is to change back to a 4-2-3-1 or even a 4-3-3, which is fine because we can do it. But again, these are the permutations you have. And I left Isaac Moore out the squad yesterday, and he can count himself very unlucky. But what you don't see, so in the week when you're training and then few lads have niggles, and then Nosey goes down on a Tuesday, can't carry on training. with his knee, has to come in Wednesday. Thursday, he does okay. Friday, he says he's okay, to play. So then you're thinking, right, my substitutions, my subs, I have to protect now Knowlesy. I have to protect them because if Knowlesy goes down after 5 minutes with his knee, I need a right back on the bench. And the way we play, I've got Trey Pemberton. So Isaac was unfortunate yesterday because I needed a right back on the bench. And there might have been a situation where Trey might not have been on the bench yesterday if Knowlesy hadn't have been struggling with his knee. And these are the things you think. But Isaac scored the previous week, and now he probably feels, well, I wasn't even on the bench. But these are the permutations as a manager goes through. Jaden Clark was on the bench. Could I have left him out? But he's got 7 goals and 5 assists. Jaden Clark was on the bench yesterday, 7 goals, 5 assists. And I'm thinking our substitutions will have to be to win a game. But again, we need the defensive cover. So that's why Gabe Kirkhoff, who can play as a centre half or a 6, is on the bench also. But most of my subs will be attacking options. So these are the things that you have to think about as a manager, which the fans and you guys won't see, that why was he not on the bench or why is he on the bench? Because my always thought process is, well, after 5 minutes, we need to change. What would my subs be? So again, it's a little insight. You're thinking consistently what you've got to do if the scenario happened. And the way we play, we could easily go into the market and get defensively minded fullbacks, but we're not like that. That's not what we are.
Robbie, just a quick question on that. And this is not me questioning how you set your side up or anything like that. But do you think that, because the league is quite ironically, like, the points you've dropped against the teams you should have won, you're still within a chance. I know, like, the Rochdale got 4 games in hand and stuff like that. But do you think that maybe, though, for Forest Green to go to somewhere like, when you play Carlisle at home, when you play York, you might have to play a different way
No.
because obviously these teams are going to be more lethal, aren't they?
No, don't. No. I think do that. So what did Dale want? What do the fans want? Obviously you want to win games of football. That's what you want. You want to win. And there's a way to win, and there's a way to lose.
You got a Forest Green fan on you. What do the fans want, Sean?
I think they want to see a good brand of football. I don't think any fan minds losing if it's done in the right way. They've always said it. If you sit back and you lose a game, it's not what you want to watch. I'd rather, like I think Rob has touched on it a few times before, I'd rather see us trying to win a game, lose or draw trying to win a game than we would, if you were just sat there trying to take a point.
I agree. So Dan, it's a fair question. So we changed when we played Rochdale at home. We went to a 5-3-2, sat off, didn't work, and I was bored, and we got it wrong. And I said to myself after that moment, I'm never going against my principles again. Listen, if you're 2-0 up against Carlisle or Rochdale and you've got defensive options on your bench, of course you can plug it up and you can go to a 5. And I could play bunker at right back if I wanted to in a 5 or, as a wing back, just to sit there and don't move. So I've got options, but I'm not going to do that. The owner wanted attacking, entertaining, young, dynamic play, and he wants to come and be entertained as the fans do. And I think that's what we're doing. So, and if we if we lose against Carl at home and have 80% possession, 38 shots, final third entries and lose 1-0, I might get a bit of criticism, but that's what I don't mind. I'll take it for my players. I'll take the response. And you see yesterday, Dan, I'm proud of my team. They were magnificent. And we can defend. We can soak up pressure. I know they equalised, but it was a fortuitous goal that the guy wins the header and he's on the floor, it falls to him, he smashes it in. Did they deserve it? Well, for the amount of pressure and possession, you could argue, yeah, they did. Because the goal was coming.
They hit par as well, didn't they? And then made a hash of the second phase of that play as well, didn't they?
Yeah, the bar from a shot outside the box.
Yeah, then obviously the second phase of that, he's like 6 yards out and literally bundles it wide where it's easier to score. But I've just done my own work, Robbie. You always moan at me not doing my own work.
but
we've actually had someone tweet me today, a Sutton fan, and he said, looking at the overall game, he said they probably deserve the point, whereas we probably deserve 2 of them if you split the 3 up. So I think they knew it.
Clear as far as Green, in my opinion.
And listen, I know we have a bit of banter on here, but I'm very, very frustrated this morning. Probably the most frustrated I've been because, when you see the decisions back, and I wish now I'd have watched it, and Ricardo would have deliberately handballed it, punched it in the net, and I'm thinking, do you know what, Ricardo? Yeah, it was, and I can compute that in my mind, thinking, yeah, he deserved it. But when you see it, and even more frustration, when you see the challenge, I'm thinking the official is so hard to be an official. But honestly, I'm getting even now to the point. But before the game, when you the 2:00 when you have to give the team sheets, and I don't even speak now because I hear the same thing every single week.
Robbie?
Yeah.
Robbie, what can the FA or the PMGOL or whatever they're called, what can they do about the standard of refereeing?
Well, it's again, they'll have training courses, education. For me, the biggest thing I think, we all have opinions on football. Dave, you, Chris, myself, Sean, and we were on the right end of a decision against Halifax because it should have been a penalty or a goal for Halifax in the last minute. We got away with that one. Yeah. We were on the wrong end of decisions yesterday. And it's happening. It happened at Cheltenham. It happened at Gloucester, everywhere. And we all be sitting there thinking, even in the Premier League, we talked about the VR one earlier. What can be done? Well, there'll be courses, there'll be meetings, there'll be seminars, but for me, it's the common sense element. It's the common sense element of, right, let's think about this for a split second. Let's think about it. Do you have to have played the game to have a better understanding to be a referee? I don't know. That's a podcast.
Can you see many former professional footballers becoming referees?
Only the low ones, because I think now the top end and even the championship above, there's so much money in the game. Then why would you? Why would you?
Yeah,
lower league players, yeah, I would say, who maybe don't earn enough money to retire because the salary now of referees is very, very good. There may be the lower league players, I would say, because if you've played in the championship for 5 or 10 years or the Premier League, you probably now you wouldn't need to do it. But lower league players, there might be a route in, but you have to start at probably a younger age, because yesterday, you can see it. You can see reaction of players. You can see body language. As a player, if that was a red card yesterday. But the referee, who takes charge of the game, didn't think that was a challenge. So what can be done? Listen, I've rung Howard a couple of times this morning. He'll ring me back later. I'm going to send him the clips because I like to be researched and educated in when I speak of, is it just me? Is it just me thinking it's a red? It's not a second yellow. But I want to know from the experts, because Howard Webb was the best. He was brilliant. Yeah. And
on the Ricardo second yellow card, this is what my thoughts were watching the highlights back last night. I thought he was sent off for giving abuse to the linesman.
No.
And so when you turned around and said it was for handball,
yeah,
I was like, really?
Deliberate handball. So then when you go into the room after the game, so I went into you're allowed to go into the room 20 minutes after. You knock the door and the assessor's in there, or a coach. And the assessor doesn't speak, and you're allowed to ask questions to the referee. And you just get the same answers. It's my opinion. I'll watch it back because they're not allowed to watch it back. But they watch it. But what I say to them, well, you're going to watch it back. Okay, if you think you're wrong, what will happen? What will happen? I don't hear of have they been coached the next week? Are they still doing a game at that level? Are they dropping down a level? And I see managers in non-league here all the time talking about referees and put on social media. I never go on social media ever and criticize referees because it's a tough place, social media. It's hard enough, being a referee in general. But then I'm never going to fuel it by hammering a referee on social media because there's no point.
But Robbie, you're being fair there, but also on the other hand, you spoke about like Premier League and Championship. If a Premier League manager gets sacked because let's say Guardiola got sacked yesterday because Dalot didn't get sent off and they lost, right? So a manager loses his job on a decision where the referee could have changed the game. Now at League 1, League 2, National League level, managers lose their job by a bad referee. So say you lost your, I know you've had a bit of a different career, but let's say this is your first stint in football and you're trying to make your way into it. So that decision yesterday, Dale's on the phone this morning and sacks you because you've lost ground or something. But that referees next week, but you've lost your job.
But I would say there that I've lost my job because we've missed so many chances, not because of the refereeing decision.
But Ricardo Rees might have scored 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, he might have, but you're not going to get sacked on one game. And I would say, hypothetically, if that would have been the case today, hypothetically, I would be being sacked because we've missed so many chances. And yesterday, we should have won the game, even with 10. So I'm not getting, because it's a fair question. I understand the question, but you will have a number of games. You're not going to get sacked on the basis of 3 refereeing decisions or 4 refereeing decisions across the season. You're going to get sacked because you're not performing with the.
Don't keep enough clean sheets.
And you can't keep enough clean sheets. Yeah. You will.
Let me phrase it differently.
It's a fair. I understand the question, and I think it's a good question. But I would never, personally, I would always blame myself. Because I would be saying, well, I didn't do that. I didn't get the best out of him. Why aren't we taking the chances? Have we done enough in training? I would ask all myself those questions because, believe it or not, I'm the first one after the game to digest, to analyse, to do everything I can to think, could I have done something different? It's the self-awareness and the reflection. And I'm doing this now on my A licence course. I'm doing that personally. And yesterday, if I'd have had that phone call and Dale would have said, listen, Robbie, we're parting company. We're going to go a different route. I'd have said, do you know what, Dale? No problem. I hopefully have left the club in the same, a better position. And the reason why is because we can't keep missing those many chances. Not the referee's fault yesterday. Yeah, he could have got it better, but he could have done better. But we've missed so many chances, and that's the story of our season so far.
But at the beginning of this chat, you said that with 11 players on the pitch, Forest Green probably go on to win that game.
Yeah.
So it is a game. You're 1-0 up. It's a game-changing moment.
Yeah, it's a fair point, Dan. It's a fair point. It's a fair point, but that's a decision for the league manager, the refereeing association, whatever it's called, Howard Webb does, for what they do. If a referee consistently is making poor decisions, because it's their livelihood as well, and it's a difficult job. So that's why I try and be balanced in my thought process. And listen, after the game yesterday, I could have gone to town, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to, because when you don't win, everybody thinks, oh, because you've not won. Like at Carlisle, when I talked about the abuse, it was because we lost. We didn't lose the game yesterday. We were brilliant. But I could have been a lot stronger, but I thought, there's no point. And there's no point in doing it on the pod. I'm just trying to speak balanced and sensibly. But I do feel aggrieved, and my players feel aggrieved. And I know we can all sit here after it and thinking, oh, well, it'll balance itself out. It's so frustrating, guys. And it's so tight, the margins. And listen, against Altrincham on Tuesday, I might come on the pod in a couple of weeks' time, and we might have had a decision gone for us and thinking, but I'd still have the same, because I've said about the Halifax game, it should have been a penalty or a goal, and it should have been a draw.
Yeah, like you said, sometimes these things do balance itself out, and decisions all the time. I've actually sent you a WhatsApp with a second penalty Cheltenham should have had yesterday. Have a look at the video. But they're the decisions where you go, yeah, sometimes they're given, sometimes they're not. But we're talking, being on the fair side, like you said, we have banter and all that, but being on the fair side of football, you look at 2 decisions yesterday. Ricardo, straight red. Their player, straight red. Their decisions, the referee's got to get right, though, Robbie. And what I would like to see happen is a referee after a game has, as somebody, because like you said, you've got in your dugouts, you've got instant replays. So maybe something could be put together for a referee. So after the game, and I know it's not going to change anything after the game, But he has a look at those wrong decisions, and then maybe pulls you in and says, "Look, Robbie, I've had a look. You're right. I should have sent that lad off. I've made a mistake." You'll probably have more. You'll still be pissed off, but you'll probably have more respect that the referee's come in and gone, "Robbie, I got that wrong. I'm sorry." And you'll go, "Do you know what? You're human. Yeah, I'm narked about it, but you move on." But you won't hear nothing now. But you might get an apology.
Correct.
You'll get a letter in the post from the FA saying sorry.
It's a non-committal after the game, and I just said just tell me what. Anyway, but again, what I find difficult, and Sean can have you can all have an opinion on this, because we're such a high-profile club with a high-profile owner. Now, a manager who's deserved this chance at this level have to do well for Macclesfield. So I'm trying to do it the way where I'm going to make mistakes and learn and get better and hopefully take Forest Green up. I'm trying to do it the right way, because I know that my footballing career wasn't enough for me just to jump into a Championship or a Premier League job. So I know that. So I'm trying to do it the way which I think is correct for me. And I've been given an amazing opportunity. But being me, I think, and being Dale and being Forest Green, I think there's an additive incentive for people to beat us. That's what I really believe. And I think, you listen to people and you listen to everybody. I think that goes against us sometimes. And for instance, yesterday, my technical team, my rule is that I stand up in the technical area and let me speak to the fourth official. And if anybody uses foul and abusive language to the fourth official, there'll be I can't have that for my technical staff. So yesterday, and this is not just yesterday, this is across the course of the season. I hear opposition dugouts using foul and abusive language consistently to the fourth official. Yeah, all the time. And that's even last year at Macclesfield. I never, and if any fourth official wants to come on here and say that I swear at them, then no problem, but I don't. So yesterday, after Ricardo's second yellow, I'm shown a motion. How can that be? Blab never swore. I get a yellow card. Josh Bowen showed a motion, got 2 yellow cards, therefore a red. So we had 3 yellow cards in the game. Yesterday, the emotion from their bench was consistent, and there was abusive language being used, but no yellow cards. So let me just answer this, guys. Hello.
So what's your opinion on that, Sean?
On what?
About
Well, we've spoken quite a bit, so
because it's that busy this morning. I find on a Sunday morning. So, for instance, my phone never stops. I'll have agents on. I'll have my sporting director. I'll have my physio. I'll have players. So it never stops, because now we're trying to implement my coaching team. So as a manager, you can see it never stops.
So let's move on to what's Forest Green looking at for the rest of the January transfer window, Robbie? You still looking to bring players in? You still got targets?
Yeah, we have. Sorry to interrupt though, but going back to that point, Dan, I know I'll go on. I bore you all. So that there, I might be wrong. In terms of, do I think that because of the size of the football club, do I get treated differently? I hope not. And I honestly, I love to believe I don't. But some of the things when I see and hear, do I give my team a disadvantage by being their manager? In terms of what other teams?
I'll weigh in here, Robbie.
Do you get what I mean,
because
guys?
This is something that I that I questioned you on one of the last times you were on, because you were, in your playing career, quite a controversial figure. I mean, you were for a time the most booked player ever in the Premier League. For a time, you're not now. And my question to you then was, do you think that goes against you? And you bringing this up now, do you think that because you were such a divisive figure as a player, do you think that potentially harms you now in your managerial career?
Listen, it's a great question, Chris, and I hope that I hope that subconsciously it doesn't go, for everybody, it doesn't go against me. But again, some of the decisions and some of the stuff that goes against us, like subconsciously you're thinking, is it because it's me? Is it because of Dale? Is it because of the profile of the football club? And I'm not saying for 1 minute that is the case, and that is the case. But when you see some stuff and thinking, do I give my team the best opportunity to win a game of football? With our tactical, with our decision making, with everything. But sometimes I think, well, do teams want to beat us even more because it's him and Dale and because the profile of the football club? That might be just me, my mind running away with myself, but
personal opinion, yes, because it's Robbie Savage. People go, it's Robbie Savage, ex-Premier League player, international. Dale, I don't think people really care, and that's being honest, because I know Forest Green fans don't care about the owner. But
no,
yourself,
they do care. They do care about the owner. They do care about the owner. The Forest Green fans. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant.
Some of the fans don't, honestly. But I'm not. We won't go into that because we've spoken about it off air before. But you, Robbie, I would say probably you would get more people in your favour because of who you are. Because sometimes when you're sat on the sideline, it's like effing Robbie Savage there. Some people might get a bit starstruck. That, he's Robbie Savage, he's, 300 plus Premier League appearances, was it 40, 50 odd international appearances? Some people get a bit starstruck and you might get that favour, but you might get the odd one who go, I never liked him as a player. And I'll be a bit whistle.
The odd one.
I was going to say the odd one,
Wow.
Dan. You're being really generous
Right,
there,
you
mate.
are being generous there.
Did you feel like that when you was at Macclesfield? Do you feel, was there like, decisions going against you?
It was everybody's cup final. Everybody's cup final. And it was because what people look at is the size of the football club at the level. Macclesfield's huge, and as you know, it's people talk about the investment, which was big, which we know. People then look at the players we can attract, and then people look at the manager, and and again, it's the same with Forest Green, because at the level, because of Dale's backing and because of the size of us and because of the players we can recruit, because of the investment, again, with me being the manager, it adds more to it. And that's what I'm saying. That do teams, and listen, of course, this is just me subconsciously thinking this, that I just think might be, if you played, so again, what would happen at times when at Macclesfield, we would play teams and their stats would probably the best of all season. And I don't know this is just me thinking. So when they played us, they probably thought, right, Macclesfield's going to be 3,500 there. It's a massive day. If I play well, there might be a chance that they might sign me. Yeah. So I can I'll get more money, having a better life. Yeah. In terms of football, play higher, and I might go on to bigger and better things. So let's turn up, let's give everything. And then the results after a game against us, and they've give everything, I'm thinking, wow, how are they in the position they're in? How good are they? How are they where they are in the league? And then the next couple of results, they'll get beat. So I'm looking at us at Forest Green, I'm looking at teams playing against us. I'm thinking, how are they where they are? And then the next couple of results, I'm thinking, why couldn't we play against that team? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
I'm going to disagree with you a bit, Robbie, because I don't think Forest Green are a big club. They're not a big club. They've just got a lot of money. That's my opinion.
You're going on big club in terms of what?
I'd say Macclesfield are a bigger club than Forest Green, but Forest Green have got a lot more money.
Historically, in terms of fan base, in terms of number of years in the Football League, you would say that. You would say that. But in terms of big club now, we are a very, very big club in the non-league. Fact.
They're a well-known club. Everybody knows about Forest Green Rovers.
Yeah.
If you talk about Forest Green now on any radio show, or honestly, I know we're not going to. It's another debate for another pod. But right now, Forest Green are a massive club in non-league. Yes or no?
I agree.
because of the money, not because of.
Well, that's
There's only
irrelevant.
6,000 people in Nailsworth.
Yeah, but that's
Robbie, I'll put it out there. I'll put it out there.
Chris,
If they-
that's. I know you're trying to wind me up, but that's irrelevant.
No, I am
You
serious. I don't
uh,
think Forest Green are a big club. They're
in
not
non-
a big
in
club.
non-
They've
in
just
non-
got a lot of money.
in non-league.
They've got a lot of money in non-league. Yes.
they're
So are they a big
predominantly
club in
Forest Green
non-league, Chris?
were always. Predominantly, Forest Green were always a National League club. So even before Dale, they was in the National League. So you got to grant that. But I'll put it out there, and this is not me being
No,
arbitrary.
but it's nonsense. It's nonsense, Dan. It's nonsense to say Forest
Let me-
Green
let me
aren't a big
finish,
club
let
in
me finish.
non-league.
Now, let me finish. If Dale walks out tomorrow, if he turned around and went, "That's it, I'm done," you'll be going to a football league club as a manager, and Forest Green would probably struggle to sustain the budget they got. But they'd go bust.
Well, but you
If
could
they-
say
if
that
Dale
about
just
you could
went-
say that you could say that about loads of clubs.
But yeah, no, exactly. This is not just Forest Green. This is out football. You look at Salford yesterday at Swindon, and again, I don't want to hammer him. Salford yesterday at Swindon had something like 56 fans there at Swindon, top of the table clash.
Who won? Who
It's
was the
just gone
score?
3-2 to Salford.
Wow.
But my point is like, you know, the class of '92 have pumped money into, and they got that.
So Cheltenham, so Mike Garlick, who's doing great by the way, if he pulled
Mike
out,
Garlick's only just come in.
Yeah,
Rob.
he hasn't put any
but,
money in.
but if he did and he pulled out, what would happen?
Well, I think we'd still stay sustainable because he's said he won't spend.
We've been sustainable for years.
We've been
That's the one thing
27
you can
years-
say about Cheltenham is we're a
27 years.
sustainable club.
Yeah.
Just
27 years we've been a football league club, and we've had no investment, and we've had 3 promotions, Wembley twice, lost in the playoffs, won the league with no money. So I would
don't get me wrong, Robbie. I'm not saying we're a big club
So
because
listen,
we're not a big club.
So what are Wrexham then, Chris? To your analogy, what are Wrexham?
Wrexham is a huge club.
Wrexham are a big club in the league.
So
they're not a big championship club. They've just got a lot of money.
But let's not forget.
But again, so when I used to go and watch Wrexham, having attendance of 2,000, Wrexham weren't a big club. So, but now Wrexham are a huge club because of the financial investment.
No, but Wrexham, Robbie, you're a Wrexham fan.
Yeah.
Wrexham used to play in Europe.
Yeah, only because of the Welsh Cup.
Yeah, but they're still a big club. I went to the non-league finals day. They took over 20,000 there. That was at the start. Over 20,000 to Wembley.
That team we signed Gabe from, are they a big club?
Because you're going to say because they played in the Europa Conference League.
They've played in Europe. They've played in Europe, haven't they?
So Wrexham now, you've just had a huge club. The reason why Wrexham are a huge club is because of Ryan Reynolds. That's why they're a huge club.
I disagree with that. Wrexham were they're a sleeping giant. Rob,
Dan. I've been a Wrexham fan. I was a Wrexham fan. I used to go home and away, and I used to see when we used to play in Division 2, 12, 13, 14, 1500 there. I also went to Nottingham Forest in 1982 when they beat Nottingham Forest 3-1. Wrexham aren't a huge club. They were in the Europe because of the Welsh Cup. I was there against Roma, Real, I think it was Zaragoza. So Wrexham aren't a huge club. They're a huge club now because
are you
the profile
comparing
Ryan Reynolds has given.
Are you comparing Forest Green to Wrexham?
No, not at all. Not at all. But your analogies, football is all about money.
Of course it is.
Yeah, but Chris is miles off it when he doesn't think that Forest Green right now, with the investment of Dale and with the profile of the club, isn't a huge club in non-league. If Forest Green went up to the League Two, yeah, would it be a huge club? No, it wouldn't be. It would, and Forest Green is Dale. And you're right. If Dale was ever to pull out,
and that's my point, Rob, is that if Dale wasn't there, Forest Green
but that's
probably don't survive the National League.
But that's hypothetical.
They're not a big club
because he is there. He is there, and he has been there, and he's staying there.
I fully grant you that point.
So it's a ludicrous suggestion because he's there and he's been there, and he loves it and he cares. So again, that's like
to be
saying,
fair, they've been saying that since 2010.
Hey, 45 million he's invested and you're still in where you started. That tells you how bad the investment's been. But no, Robbie, you're right. I'm going to finish up on this. You are right. Football is all about money. I don't care what anybody says now. You look back in the 90s when Man
Why
United were
City?
dominating.
Man City now.
Yeah, because investment. Salford, investment. Wrexham, investment. Forest Green, investment. You look at Fleetwood, investment. Got in the Football League. You look at all clubs now. Let's not beat around the bush. Cheltenham would have ended back up in non-league had we not got investment. When we got to League One, this is the short story behind it.
Let me ask you a question.
We got to League One.
Let me ask you a question. If Cheltenham would have had Dale as owner,
which he actually inquired about the club, yeah.
if you'd have had Dale as owner in that time of Forest Green, where do you think you'd be?
I think we'd be a sustainable League One club now. Not worried about relegation.
So you'd be higher.
We'd be higher. Yeah, of course you would. Because of the money. He's one thing. We'll say what we say. One thing I'll give him credit for. He's put his money where his mouth is. He's invested a lot of money into Forest Green, and I take the hat off to it. You know, we're all rivals. We have a bit of banter, but some people may think it's bitter, but it's banter. At the end of the day, if Mike Garlick, we'll find out in the summer how true he is to this investment. If he starts ploughing money into Cheltenham Town, I ain't going to sit there and go, Christ, I'll be like Sean, I'll be living it, lapping it up, because it's your club. You want to see people investing money, but you are right, Robbie. Football is all about money now. If you haven't got money, even you look at the likes of Bolton. Bolton Wanderers, they're a Premier League club, but they dropped down to League Two because they got into financial trouble and they've never really recovered. You look at Yeovil Town, they got to the Championship, but now they dropped all the way down to the National League South because they're still paying for that one season in the Championship. But unless you've got money to sustain it, you'll naturally find your level. And as you know now, you cover from Premier League all the way down. If you've not got money now, you ain't going anywhere.
So as I know we've gone on for ages, but it's good. It's good it's great. It's great debate, and I get it. But on the transfer window, you said about that was your last question 4 hours ago. I just want you to do more editing this afternoon. So we're probably looking at one more. There might be an opportunity, to bring an old player back. Hopefully in the near future. Might not happen, but there might be an opportunity to bring an old player back. I'm not going to mention on here because I know when you speak to certain individuals on here, it gets leaked on social media. When you try and have friends and think you trust him, but when you give confidential information, it just gets leaked all over social media. But I don't know who would do that. So
you didn't give me any confidential
information. Dan, I didn't say it was you. Have you got anything?
Definitely wasn't me either, by the way.
Dan looks a bit sheepish there, Sean, doesn't he? Okay, it's fine. So I'd probably give you the name, but like confidentially, but I don't want it plastered all over X later, Dan. So again, hopefully we can bring an individual back. A previous player at the club. We're working on that, but obviously the club who we're talking to might not want that to happen, which is fine. I just think we're probably one short. So we're in the market for one more player, and then that'll be it. But our window, as Chris alluded to at the beginning of the pod, and he was right. As a manager, I've not had to work within a transfer window, and I think I'd prefer that, Chris. I think I would. I think because now
I hate the January transfer window personally. I think it's a terrible idea.
I moved in it twice. I think I moved in it twice. It is a nightmare. But as a manager, I've not had a transfer window yet because obviously it's up until March. So again, you're always looking. You're always trying to think, how can I improve? Who am I going to lose? Who's not happy? Who's happy? It's like, but you've got this now going on to March. So I really wish now that end of Jan we'd probably done and everybody's done because you know where you are. But right now, as we know, we brought Ricardo in, we brought Gabe in. Elijah Morrison, who's a real player, could have played higher, could have played at a club near Forest Green, but chose us.
They turned him down, I heard.
But you okay, Dan? Are you right? You're rattled.
I was talking to someone else.
So we're probably looking at one more, and if we get the one player who we might get back, I think it'll be brilliant. But again, we're really happy with the squad. We've now got players I can choose from, probably about 22, 23. I know we've got a few players who aren't in contention, and we got a few players injured. We've probably carried about 28, 29 players, but realistically, I'm probably only choosing from a pool of 22. So with a couple of injuries, we're probably one short. So, that one player hopefully will come in, whether it's the one we want. Well, whoever comes in, we want them. But our first target is we'll probably find out Wednesday morning. And if it's not him, we'll go to our number 2. And if it's not him, number 3, number 4, number 5. Because we have a profile of so many players. And what our owner does is he backs us because he knows it's for the benefit of the football club. And the one thing I've guaranteed, and the one thing I think Sean will know, whenever I leave this football club, whether it be from my contract ends in 4 years, I'm sacked, I get an opportunity to manage higher with Dale's blessing, that the football club will be in an unbelievable position with a decreased budget and a young dynamic squad where a manager can easily go into and just carry on. Look at Runes at Macclesfield. Look at what we left there. And look at, 9 of the players who started that game against Crystal Palace, I brought into the football club. So again, whatever happens to this football club, the football club will be in an unbelievable position because of the recruitment and because of, what the culture we've built. So again, I want to take this team even more so now into the championship. I really, really do. I really do. Because going back to your point, Chris, that I think Dale wants that also with a new stadium, and he's prepared to back the managers to do that. And I can't speak highly enough of him. Honestly, as an owner, he is brilliant. And I've said this: if I got sacked tomorrow, I would look Dale in the eye, shake his hand, and say, "You've been brilliant for me." I really would, because he has, and that's what I'm like. That's what I'm like, because he's given me the best opportunity to be the best manager I can be. And at the end of this, listen, I'm not going to get sacked. I'm not. Whatever happens this year or next year, I don't think I will, because he knows what we're doing as a journey. And that journey, I want to see get to the championship. And it might never happen, but he backs us. And it's incredible to have an owner and a staff who were all on the same page.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it, Rob. Thanks for coming on again, and the banter is brilliant.
So obviously, I edit this bit out, but edit the bit when Dave, because Dave's seen it now. So what I didn't want to happen is Dave say it was a trip, and because it's not a trip, is it? Now we're seeing it. It's brilliant, that.
I'll do that. But again, thanks, mate. Enjoy 6 of 6 tonight.
Thanks, mate.
And we'll get you on again soon.
Is Dave gone?
He's turned his camera off.
How did Gloucester get on yesterday?
Lost 3-0. That's our next bit we're getting on to, Gloucester.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a bit upset, mate.
He's not very happy.
Where was it at?
Having a Waterlooville.
Well, it was 3-0, Dave, was it?
Yeah. It was very disappointing result against us. They started off poorly, but they're one of the few full-time sides at our level.
Are they full-time?
Yeah, full-time. They got Ryan Seeger up front. Ryan Seeger now has scored 21 goals in the last 9 games for them.
Forest Green's new signing.
I know. He scored a hat-trick yesterday. Last week he scored 4, got a hat-trick the week before. He was with Dorking in the National League for a while.
21 goals in 9 games?
Oh, that's mental stat, isn't it? Mental stat. But yeah, we knew he was going to be him.
Look at Sean's face.
What I'll do,
Sean's looking him up right now, and he'll be on the phone to Robbie later. We need to sign him.
He's getting on a bit. He's no spring chicken, but he knows where the back of the net is.
what I'll do later, I'll send Sean what Howard says about those challenges, and I'll let you know what he says.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that'd be
Dave, I was
interesting.
only trying to look at. I know you don't need looking after, Dave, but when you said trip, that's why, because it's not a trip.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I got it totally wrong. I hold my hands up. I'd seen it once on a telephone.
Yeah.
I
But
watched it
say
on a
I look
laptop
after
a couple
people,
of times.
Dave.
And
Say I could have left you
it was,
hang
it,
out to dry there because people would have said trip. So again, that's why I try and look after people.
yeah, it was up by the knee. When I first saw it, it looked like he
Yeah.
just caught his foot, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob. Cheers.
Cheers, Robbie.
Bye-bye. Right, Dave, let's quickly go on to Gloucester City. Luckily, it's only short notice. You could make it for...
Yeah, as I said, I didn't make the game. I had other stuff, so I only listened to it on the radio. So there's not a lot of insight I can add, really, other than a very disappointing result against a side banging form. We're not in great form. And I had a funny feeling it might be a tricky one, and that's how it turned out.
Yeah. Obviously, based on what the game was about, Dave, a couple of half chances early on for City, but the game seemed quite flat and not a lot happening in terms of what was going on. But in the 44th minute, City gave away a penalty at the wrong time, and Seeger, you was just talking about, converted to make it 1-0 to City. Have you seen the penalty decision back?
I haven't seen it. I've just Robbie was talking. I nipped off for a few minutes, and I watched actually Joe Hanks, who gave away the penalties, interview, and he was vexed. A few people I've said who still were there said it like he played the ball. It wasn't a penalty, but it was given, so it's all water under the bridge, isn't it? And yeah, you don't expect Ryan Seeger to miss. Although with Jared Thompson in goal, I've always got that little feeling that he's going to save it with his record on penalties. But yeah, went in off the post apparently. So that's 1-0, and yeah, it's as Hanksy said in his interview, the first goal was always going to be very important, and they got it.
Yeah. And then, so you go into the second half, just before the hour, City go 2-0 down, Seeger again. Obviously, it was all to do an uphill battle then, David.
Yeah. It was an unusual looking lineup because we literally got no defenders. Kieran Thomas still not back, Ledbetter out, Ben Morgan out. We only lined up with 2 recognised defenders, 2 centre backs, and then it was just looked like a team of midfield and attackers when you looked at the lineup. I think we ended up playing Marcus Day at right back and Harry Emmett at left back, neither of them are defenders really. I had a funny feeling it was going to be a high scoring game when I saw the lineup. I was hoping we were going to win 5-4, but yeah, we didn't. We just didn't. Speaking to people who were there, we just didn't really create much. It was a very sort of flat, disappointing performance.
Yeah, like I said, City didn't really lay a glove on them, did they? And obviously, then Seeger gets his hat trick, and it's game over. And it leaves you wondering, what do you think's maybe gone wrong over the last, few weeks, Dave? Because that's 2 wins now in 90 minutes in the last 8 games. I know that's
I think a combination of things. I think the players were lacking due to injury and suspension is hurting us, and just a general dip in form. We just haven't been playing as well as we did earlier in the season. Funny one yesterday, it was just like everybody had the same as us, apart from Gosport. Everybody dropped points. Walton Hersham is lost to Weymouth. So yeah, it hasn't. It's frustrating because it would have been a good opportunity to sort of make up some ground on Walton and to put some distance between us and the others, but not much harm was done really. If you look at, form aside, if you look at the table, if somebody you knew nothing about it looked at the table, you'd probably fancy the team in our position with the games played to be favourites for second, really. If games in hand are worth anything, then we're still right up there for second. Can't see us, as I said previously, I can't see anybody catching Walton and Hersham. I said I didn't think they'd drop. I said yesterday I didn't think they'd drop it. We're 13. We need to make up 13 points on them, and I don't think they'll drop another 13 points this season. I said yesterday, and then they immediately dropped 3.
That's the trouble, Dave, as well, isn't it? If you added 1 yesterday, that's down to 10, and then you've got could get it down to 7, and then
Yeah, we've got them next Tuesday. So big game. I'm in the process of arranging a coach down there if anybody wants to contact me, wants to travel. But yeah, it's a big game. Big game. I don't know whether it's a big game because if we beat them, it'll make up 3 points on Walton and Hersham, or whether it's a big game because we need to get those 3 points to like put distance between ourselves and Walton, us and Farnham and Poole and Gosport and Sholing. We've got, moving on from this game, because I think there's an awful lot more we can say about it. But going forward, next Saturday we've got Tiverton at home, which really should be a banker. They're right down the bottom.
but on the day you got Tiverton, Walton and Hersham,
Walton are playing Poole, so one of them's going to be dropping points. I don't know. It's a funny one, isn't it?
Egging Walton and Hersham on.
Do you know? I mean, either a draw or Walton win. Yeah, I'd like to see Poole drop more points. They dropped points yesterday, so yeah, it's always going to be a big run of games. The next 3 or 4 or 5 games. I think it will make or break the season. Really, we need to get back on form, and I can't think of a better opportunity to do so than playing Tiverton at home. Be nice to score a few goals, get 3 points, and then look forward.
Yeah, let's go on to Daft's thoughts. This is the first interview, Dave, I've watched of Daft. He looked a bit deflated yesterday.
He did, yeah. He looked pretty angry, and he was talking quite a lot of things are going to change. So it makes me wonder if there's going to be a few personnel changes.
Yeah, because he does say, he said it was a decent first half with a couple of half chances. Second half wasn't good enough. Capitulated, and that's not good enough. And he seemed very angry when he said that, didn't he? It was like
He did.
threw the towel in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he didn't seem a happy boy, did he? It'd be interesting to see what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't really foresee any changes in personnel, but now I'm starting to wonder if we'll see a few go out and a few come in. We brought a defender in on loan for the rest of the season from Merthyr Town.
Yeah.
But he's international clearance always sounds bizarre, doesn't it, when somebody's moving an hour down the road from Wales? But yeah, international clearance didn't go through yesterday, so he wasn't available, but he should be available for Saturday, one would hope. So that'll help us out in that regard. And it's Ellis's last game ban, I think, on Saturday, so he should be back for Walton and Hersham, which will be much needed because he does create. He's one of our biggest creative influences in the final third.
But he does go on to say, he said, we got a couple of players coming back, and basically we need them back. I think they're quite important players.
Yeah, Kieran Thomas is nearing. I mean, he's our team captain. He's an excellent player, really strong defensive player who gets forward well, and he's been out on a long-term injury. But yeah, he's knocking on the door now. I saw him kicking a ball around, and he looked pretty fit. So hopefully he'll be back very soon, because I think he could make a big difference to shoring us up at the back.
Yeah. He goes on a couple of other things. He goes on to say that he goes on to question the mentality of some. He did say it's okay sitting here and praising when we've been doing well. He said, but we need to get a few home truths when we're not. Big few games coming up: Tiverton, Walton, and Sholing. What do you think the minimum from that is, Dave? What Gloucester need from those three? I know obviously 9 points, but what can you afford?
I'd like to. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, not 9 would be. No, I can't get 8, can you? 5, 6, 7, 9 would be. 9 would be fantastic, but I don't think if we can't come out of it with less than 5, hopefully beating Tiverton, and then if we got a draw away at Walton, you couldn't really look at that as too bad a result when other teams around us are going to be playing them. They don't drop many points. Sholing's going to be a tough game away. We'd be lovely to win it, but I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And like I said, it was ironic, wasn't it? You've been waiting for Walton Hersham to lose, and they lose on the weekend. You lose. Farnham draw, Sholing and Poole, but all drop points. And like Forest Green yesterday, they drew in a game that they probably needed to win, but apart from Rochdale and Bournemouth, everybody else didn't pick up points. So
Yeah.
that's positive for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at our result, as it has happened, then all you can hope is that the others don't capitalise on it, and they didn't. Conversely, you can look at it the other way. If you look at their results first, then we failed to capitalise on them. But yeah, it's all sort of as you were really after yesterday. Not a lot has changed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's quite a quick one, Dave. I've kept it short because I
Needed
knew
to be really, didn't it?
Yeah, it needed to be. And I know you couldn't make it yesterday, so I didn't want to go too.
No, I had an airport run for the in-laws, so yeah, couldn't go yesterday, but be there on Saturday, and I'll be down in Walton Hersham next Tuesday. So
Brilliant. Right, thanks, Dave. Let's go to Sean. Scores on the door, Sean.
Next up is Talk of the County's Prediction League and Scores on the Doors by Sean Baker.
the one positive of the weekend.
Yeah. Like I said, it's getting interesting for three of us.
It.
So, are we looking?
I got 3 points. I got 2-1 for Oldham v Cheltenham. Dave got 3 points for Sutton v FGR. And Chris got 1 point for Havant and Gloucester. Dan, you didn't get any this week.
No, I had
So there's been a bit of movement in the table.
Go on.
So
I was so tempted to go us losing.
I've gone to the top on 42.
I got to be fair to do it when it's not me.
Dan, you and David joint on 41. So you're technically above him just because V comes after N. And Chris, you're languishing in 34.
Staring relegation in the face, Chris.
Chris is late dash at the end of the season. He's just like sitting boys in his time.
And getting cut adrift, he is.
I'm quite impressed. I got a 3-pointer. I hadn't had one for ages.
What you put 2-1 Oldham, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you did.
And then you all went 1-1, all three of you.
Yeah. Right, so well done, Sean. Again, plenty of games to go over. Sean leads the way. Let's go on to next week's games. Cheltenham next Saturday are at home to Grimsby. Head-to-head, there's been 21 games. Cheltenham have won 7, Grimsby have won 8, and there's been 6 draws. Last time out was the unforgettable 7-1 loss. Just that the week after Flynn got the sack, and we finished the game with 9 men. And the last time at Warden Road was 1-1. Chris, how do you see the game and your predictions?
I don't see it being anywhere near the same type of game as last time. But Grimsby is always a tough game. I think it'll be a low-scoring one. I'm gonna go for a 1-1.
Sean?
Yeah. Just wondering whether Grimsby score 6 this time. Nah, I'm going to go 2-1 Grimsby again. I'm going to be nice and boring.
Dave?
I was going to go 2-1 Grimsby. One good form, won the last 4. But I don't want to go 2-1 Grimsby because I need to catch Sean up. So I'm going to go 3-1 Grimsby.
Yeah, but you should stick with what you originally thought.
No,
because at the very least, he's not going to gain on you.
3-1 Grimsby.
Okay. I'm actually the same as Chris. I'm going to go 1-1. I could see it being a tight game. Like I said, I'm not too worried about what we've got. I just think if we're going to blow any teams away, we need some attacking reinforcement. So 1-1 for me. On to Tuesday night. No, it's not Tuesday night. Saturday. No, you played Tuesday against Altrincham. Wednesday, rather. Yeah, but that did get me when I was looking at some of the National League games, and I was like, well, where's Forest Green?
We're on Wednesday against Altrincham.
Yeah, so Wednesday you play Altrincham. Last time out was the 2-1 win up at Altrincham. How did you see the game and score, Sean?
Well, I think it's a massive game. I was having a quick look at the form, and Grimsby in their last
6, didn't they?
Yeah, they've lost all of them. Conceded 9. Conceded 9. I think they've only scored 3. If we'd have had Rees, I would have fancied a nice sort of 4 or 5-0. So I might just go 2-0 Forest Green.
Chris?
3-1 Forest Green. because they never keep a clean sheet.
Dave?
I'm going to go 3-1 Forest Green.
I'm going to go 4-0 Forest Green. And then on to the Saturday, which is a 5:30 kickoff up at the lovely northeast of the country. You're away at Scunthorpe, so it's going to be a tough one, Sean. I think they got pretty good home form, Scunthorpe. Head to head, there's been 8. Forest Green have won 4, Scunthorpe 3, and 1 draw. Last time out was back in September when it was a 1-1 at the new lawn. Your thoughts and predictions, Sean?
Yeah, obviously, I think they're quite a strong side. I think at home, I think the first 20 minutes they played really well, and then they just sort of sat back and it was all us. And then we got sort of what we deserved in the end. I agree, it's going to be pretty tough. Again, Rees, we should have back then, so I might go for another sort of 3-1 win.
Dave?
They're in banging form, aren't they? Last 8 games, 7 wins and a draw. I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 Scunthorpe.
Chris?
2-1 Scunthorpe.
I'm going to go 2-0 Scunthorpe. And then on to Gloucester.
Sean's fuming, by the way.
No, I'm happy because I'm going to pull away in the table.
Yeah, I'll shake your hand if you go out there and win 3-1. I really will.
To be fair, like that's a sort of game that we will go and win. We're going to hit a run at some point where we're just going to win like 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 on the bounce with clean sheets.
So Gloucester, on to Gloucester, they're at home to Tiverton. Head to head, there's been 4. Gloucester have won 3. Tiverton have won 1. There's been no draws. Last time out was a 3-1 win, City back in March. Dave, your thoughts and predictions?
I'm going to go for a 4-1 win. The City.
Chris?
3-1 City.
3-1. Did you say 4-0, Dave?
4-1.
4-1. Sean?
Tiverton near the bottom.
They are bottom.
Oh, they are. Have you got all your players back?
Watts still not back, but we could have a few back.
Yeah, I might go like 3-0 Gloucester then.
They're 11 points adrift of safety, right at the bottom.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0 Gloucester.
I'm going to go for a massive bounce back for Gloucester. I think you're going to get a reaction. I'm going to go 5-0 Gloucester.
Like you're thinking.
Reginald.
Yeah, it didn't like it last week, mate, because it let me down.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's a good place to leave it. As always, Sean, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, boys. Got to go and tidy up some coffee.
Chris, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, lads.
And Dave, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
On a weekend where it's the same old story for Cheltenham, FGR settle for a point as Ricardo sees red. City haven't had the best of day in Hampshire. See you next time.